So as someone who juggles, I get a lot of ideas for things that I could throw around. And some of those ideas are good, and they're objectively hilarious. And some of those ideas are a little bit of a mess. And I just end up with a bunch of random props that are probably just going to damage me. I thought it would be fun to kind of dive into my thought process of coming up with new stuff to juggle. And I would also sort of like to see what other people have to say about it, because I think this could go somewhere, and I only have so many ideas. But anyway, one of the things I've been working on lately is ping pong juggling, which is why I did this short the other week. But I had this idea in my head that I wanted to take ping pong paddles in both hands and just go crazy with them, juggling back and forth in the middle. And that doesn't really work. But it gave me some ideas for some other things that I can do. Plus, I don't even know how you would start with 3 balls, because you can hold one on each thumb, but then what do you do with the third one? Like, the main issue with that is that you have no lag time in your throws. So normally when you juggle, you have the throw, and then when you catch it, there's a little bit of time where that ball is kind of not in the air and it's just sitting, and then you get it back up there. So if you don't have that downtime, the pattern just doesn't work because they can't all always be in the air. To some extent, you can do it with 2 on the same paddle, but once you get 3 and then going back and forth, it becomes too much. I don't think it's possible. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm moving on from that, though. What the lack of a catch time means, though, is that if I take 1 paddle and 2 balls in the other hand, every time I hit them on the paddle, it's basically like nothing is happening over there. So I'm effectively juggling 2 balls in 1 hand, and then I'm just kind of tapping them a little bit. It would be the same as if I were to throw up a regular ball and just slap it. But I don't want to do that. I mean, he looks so sad now. I feel guilty. The other tip that I at least want to mention here is that I had been practicing with these little foam balls instead of ping pong balls, because they're a little bit less bouncy. And when you've got a ping pong ball on a paddle, it kind of goes all over the place pretty easily. And I've gotten more control over it now. But when I first started, it was a little rough. So using the yellow guys was a little bit easier because they don't go as crazy. Well, when I say that. So let me just go through some of the ideas for stuff that I did kind of get to work. And there is some 2-ball stuff. There is some 3-ball stuff. And the paddle can be a ball. You throw it like a club. But anyway, this is the main pattern that I was able to work out. 2 balls and a paddle, which, like I said, is pretty much 2 balls in 1 hand with a little tap. It sounds simple, but there's a lot of flair that you can add to this. The paddle can swap hands or just be passed around to break up the pattern. You can also adjust the height to change up the speed, which can help give you more time to make some special hits. Under the leg, behind the back, flipping the paddle, whatever works. That's just what I came up with for now. The big thing with this as a base pattern is that it feels stable, which is nice. And I can't say that about adding in a 3rd ball. I can juggle 3 in 1 hand normally, but this gets so wild so fast. I think I'm mostly just panicking with the paddle and hitting it too hard, but still. You don't get precise control out of the paddle anyway, so sometimes they just hit in midair, and I don't really think there's much you can do about that. As a final note, I did try some normal juggling balls while I had the paddle out, and honestly, it kind of works. It does feel a little slow, but there's some pretty neat stalls that you can do with the paddle. It's almost like a little more flowy than normal juggling. I don't know, I just think it's neat. So yeah, that's all I've been able to figure out for now, but I would love to hear some ideas if you've got any, and I might do a follow-up on this if I can come up with some cooler stuff. I'd also love to see other people try and give this a shot, because from what I can tell, it's not really much of a thing. There were some people doing some mouth ball juggling. That's different. That's not the same. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of potential. So if you want to see more on this, let me know. Stick around to find out if I do it. I don't know. See ya.